The 2 weeks that changed how I see my life. Planes taking off, rain on the window, Seattle Pipe Market, Mount Rainier. I thought I was going to Washington for the Air Force, and technically I was, but somewhere between the mountains, the conversations, and the people I met, the trip became about something else entirely. I left Alabama expecting 2 weeks of military work. I came back understanding myself a little bit more than I did before. And honestly, I don't think Washington was the thing that changed me. I think leaving home did. When most people think of Washington, they think of rain, they think of Seattle, coffee, mountains, and somehow, with all of those stereotypes, they're all true. The state is beautiful in a way that doesn't even seem real. Everywhere you look, there's another mountain, another forest, another view that makes you stop thinking for a second. But what surprised me the most wasn't the scenery, it was the people. I spent most of my time around Tacoma and Seattle, walking around different neighborhoods, looking at houses, meeting strangers, observing things I wasn't used to seeing back home. One thing I noticed immediately was how different the demographics were. A lot of the places I went, I was one of the only black people around. And strangely enough, I didn't hate it. I felt rare, not better, not worse, just different. And that feeling made me pay more attention to who I am outside of the environment I always known. The Air Force gave me the reason to be there, but the conversations are what made the trip memorable. Late night talks, gym conversations, talking with people from completely different backgrounds. Even random discussions about life, the world, goals, relationships, and where we all wanted to end up. It's funny, you can know someone for years and never really know them. Then spend a few days with someone and somehow talk about things you never told anybody. One of my favorite memories was the Seattle trip. Not because of the city itself or The Last of Us, but because of the conversations. For some reason, being somewhere unfamiliar makes people more honest. Maybe it's because nobody has anything to lose. Maybe it's because we're all temporarily becoming new versions of ourselves. Sorry, I meant temporarily. Whatever it was, those conversations stayed with me. Then there was Mount Rainier. Pictures don't do it justice. Videos don't do it justice. Standing there reminded me how small I truly am. Not in a depressing way, in a freeing way. Most of the things I stress about every day suddenly felt insignificant compared to something that's been standing here for thousands of years. But not every lesson was deep though. Some were just embarrassing. Like the time I left a note for a married woman. Or the date where I convinced myself the night was heading one direction when it absolutely wasn't. At the time those moments felt awkward. Now they're hilarious. But they also taught me something. Sometimes I approach connections with people with an expectation instead of appreciation. Sometimes I become more focused on what I might get from someone than who they actually are. And realizing that wasn't fun, but it was necessary. One thing I learned during these 2 weeks is self-improvement isn't about becoming somebody else. It's about becoming more aware of your flaws, more aware of your strengths, more aware of your habits, and more aware of the stories you tell yourself. I learned that manifestation isn't magic, it's attention. You start noticing opportunities because you're finally looking for them. You start noticing growth because you're finally paying attention. And I feel like manifestation isn't always about hoping and believing for something in the future. I met people I probably would have never met if I stayed home. Some I'll never see again. Some I'll keep up with. And to the girl I met on Tinder. Honestly, if I lived in Washington, things might have turned out very differently. And that's another weird lesson. There are entire versions of our lives waiting in places we've never been. Before this trip, I thought Washington was special because there was more to do. Now I don't think that's true. I think Alabama has things to do too, but the difference is perspective. Tourists explore, residents repeat, and somewhere along the way, we forget we're allowed to be tourists in our own lives. Washington reminded me to be curious again, to talk to strangers, to take chances, to leave the house, to explore, to stop assuming I know everything about the place I come from. I went to Washington expecting military orders. I came back with memories, lessons, friendships, and a better understanding of myself. And for that, I'll always be grateful. Thank you, Washington.